I can't do this anymore. Left my past all on the floor. I've been trying to keep it moving. Now we going north, going up 2, 3, up 2, 3. Got this joy inside of me because I can't do this anymore. Left my past all on the floor. I've been trying to keep it moving. Now we going north, going up 2, 3, up 2, 3. Got this joy inside of me because I got the key. We've been really moving places, goes on a low. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to RealRam. This is Conversations. And actually, I'm continuing a conversation that I actually started a year ago, exactly to the day. Actually, it was December 23rd. So I want to talk to you a little bit more about communication. Communication and knowing what your communication style is, okay? Because there's a couple of things that has happened over this past year. Let me flip to my notes real quick so I'm not rambling. Oh. Sorry, y'all, for the long pause. I thought I'd find it. But if you remember last year, what I spoke to all of you about was the personality types. There's multiple types. There's a 16 personality type test that you can take. There's 4 communication styles. Then there's high and low context. So what I want to do this time, instead of going all into length and describing all those things, is I want to try to do a share screen because I am one of those that is very detail oriented when I speak. And so just in case any of you are the same, and if you learned what your personality is within this last year. So one of those. My name is Kiwi Toy. Okay. Kiwi Toy. You have to excuse me for just a moment. Okay. If you learned within this last year what your personality and communication style is, okay, I am somewhat of an analytical communicator, but mostly what I am is functional, okay, like in process, detail, timelines, well thought out plans, right? So to go back and share with you, analytical, intuitive, functional, and personal. They're known by lots of names, which last year I used a different naming convention. But for today's, this is what we're going to talk about, okay? And so me, functional, okay? Very, very oriented to details. 16 personality types. I happen to fall under a person that is a sentinel. And I've taken the personality test twice. I've taken the Briggs-Meyers in 2014, and then I've taken this one, the 16 personalities, in 2016. And I've fallen under a logician, a defender, and a consul. But basically, as you can see, all these people are dedicated people who likes to defend people, right? Practical, well-minded, protective, social, caring. That's me. Okay. Then I talked about last year, high and low context communication. High context, less verbal, explicit communication, less formal, long-term relationships, okay, decisions and activities focused, right? High context. These are small religious congregations. Low context, rule-oriented. People play by external rules. Sequence, separation of time, space, and activities, okay? Task-oriented. That's me. I'm more of a low context person. So as a quick review of all of that. Then I want to also caveat to know, it's important for you to know what your 5 love languages, okay? Those are words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. You may ask, why is this important? Okay, all of those things are important to help you with better communication, right? To better get your message across, better receive from the other person, all of that. We know that, right? But why? Why is that important? Other than to have better and improved relationships, outside of the work context and stuff that we may all know, right? As a review from last year, I want to talk about the Monique situation. I do want to bring that back up. Why do I want to bring that up? Because it has come back up within this year that I have spoken, right? I understood Monique from the beginning. And I think that the problem is that people don't like the messenger. How many times has it been said, don't shoot the messenger, right? Don't judge a book by its cover. Think about the message that is being said and not the way it is being said. All these things have been said. But did Monique lie? Or was she wrong? Any of that stuff. Monique and her situation has come up so much over this past year. And the fact that she has it recorded that Tyler Perry did tell her that she was right. Now, if you had if you had a contract, it seems that what was happening right there was a high context, low context type thing, right? The low context of having a contract, wanting a contract, requesting a contract, and then other people going off of a verbal and making a request. That's why this is important, right? Because of a person like me, I want a contract. I want everything in writing because you're surely going to punish me as if we had everything in writing. And that's exactly what was happening with Monique, right? Y'all didn't have any agreement with her for her to go overseas and publicize and promote this movie, right? So Tyler Perry tells her, and it is recorded, that he's going to come out publicly and say that she was right. And he never did. Even to today, he still has not done that. So she was labeled difficult, hard to work with, and all these things. And Black women seem to be labeled this way quite often. Quite often. Now, whether she really was or whether she just really was not passive, a passionate and aggressive person or even assertive person, why does that make her wrong? Why should she have been blackballed the way that she was? Why didn't this brother come out and help her like he said that he would do? Now, what has happened since then? What has happened? Tiffany Haddish. Tiffany Haddish has been asked to host awards for free. What also has happened? Netflix has made deals with some women and they have been paid less for their shows. Even Wanda Sykes has even come out and said some things about that. All the way up into the fact that more recently, Dave Chappelle had to say something about the fact that he has a contract and he has had a deal that didn't go the way that he has set forth. So he has come and asked the viewers, his supporters, to not watch it on Netflix, not to watch his special, because instead of just boycotting Netflix as a whole, which was what Monique asked, don't punish, the other people who are making deals with Netflix. Don't mess with their money. He's saying, just don't support my stuff. I don't want you to do it because they didn't do right by me. But sometimes people just don't know how to say what they want to say and say it in a way that is acceptable to everyone. And I know that I have done that because I am a person who at times, I'm more of the time focused on details. I'm focused more on the task. I'm focused on all of this as opposed to spending a little bit more time on focusing on and shaping and embracing the relationships with people, getting people to want to do things and not doing things because I'm asking you to, or because you should do it, or because the book says that you should. So I can understand that people didn't want to listen to Monique because she was loud, but she still was right. If I didn't have a deal with you to go off and go promote your movie overseas, and I'm not getting paid, I gotta foot the bill to go overseas, and you're not gonna pay me to do it. It's like reimbursing. If you're not gonna reimburse me, and it was the holidays, so she gotta be away from her family and she ain't getting paid. Come on. How many people will go off and go do something for free? Something that they're not contracted to do. They're not legally obligated to do that. So just because they did not like her style, they're all gonna shut her down and continue to not work with her. Now, I still believe that just comes back to the fact that because she's a black woman, because she's a big black woman, and because, yes, maybe because she's loud, but that does not make her incorrect in what she said. Now, what also has happened is that Faison Love and a woman, I'm sorry, I do not know these people's names, but they did a movie, and Faison Love is he's suing because they were removed from the cover. Now, y'all cannot say that all of these things, communication, understanding, high context, low context, racism, personality styles, all of this stuff is intertwined. There is all tied in together. Okay, in understanding the package. And I think that Monique was trying to lead the way. She was trying to start a movement, but people just didn't like her. They didn't agree. So it didn't become a big thing. And as I read the book, The Memo, I've talked about The Memo, Michelle Obama's book, Becoming. And recently I read a book, More Than Enough. And when you put those three together, as well as these podcasts and stuff that I'm listening to, you got to understand that some folks should have came forth to help Monique. Just because her packaging wasn't right, and even her packaging as herself, not just her language, but herself, her body, it wasn't right. So let's take it back to even Rosa Parks being the one who sat on the bus. The movement followed her, but she wasn't the first. The package had to be right. And all of that ties in. I think that you all, if you haven't taken your personality type, your communication personality test, you really should. Okay, you can do 16personalities.com. You can do the Briggs-Meyers test. Understand which four quadrants you fall under, because it's very important when you are communicating with someone else to understand how come your wires keep getting crossed and your message, communication is important in so many things. It really is. It's not just romantic relationships or in just your job or your colleagues. I mean, it's in everything. It's even with your children, And when we talk about being labeled difficult. Now, I did not watch this apology, nor did I watch the reunion show, but I will. But the same thing happened with Will Smith. Excuse me, y'all. The same thing happened with Will Smith and Aunt Viv. That he called her difficult and hard to work with. And then that put her out of work for a great number of years. And then he ended up coming out and apologizing to her. So if he did that way back in 90 something, and then it happens again to Monique, at least, sometime, she was hurt. The career was hurt. But Will Smith came back and he gave her an apology. And I think that if Tyler Perry can go out there and he can feed thousands of people during COVID, he can sit there and make a live video stream and speak up for Monique. Because I mean, I still like him. I still like Oprah. You know, whatever they do the work. But if you did at some point hinder someone, and as this year is coming to a close, I think they should do the right thing and speak with her. If they saying, you know, that they asked for a meeting, even if they don't say that, if they didn't say that they have asked for a meeting, and if they don't want to sit in the same room, they don't want it. Everything is virtual now. And if Monique did not have a contract to do all this stuff, you called her difficult, and Oprah Winfrey should know, of all people, and you start labeling black women and they start having all these troubles, and then all these things starts to happen again with other people. Come on, you got to come on and speak up for the woman, speak up for the sister. We should be there to help each other. So with all that being said, I will put a link in here for the 16 personality types, because it's very, very important so that you can understand how you relate to other people and how to best tell people how to relate to you. And so you can understand your own love language. And also the 16 personalities helps you also with your career. Maybe you're struggling with your career because your heart is telling you to go another way, but you know you're trying to follow the money. You should try that out. So you know how I do. I gotta send you out with my music. And so we're gonna end this year on the right path. And my speaker went out. Turn that back on. Oh Lord. Thank you for your patience. I'm always grateful for that. I can't do this anymore. That's my past all on the floor. I've been trying to keep it moving. Now we going north, going up to 3, up to 3. I've been showing inside of me because I can't do this anymore. That's my past all on the floor. Merry Christmas Eve. And remember this. If no one told you today, I love you. You're special. You were meant to be here. Take care of yourself. For the lost souls don't need no fame, but they go to my name. RealRam out. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.